This is St Mary's Abbey in Ferns, County Wexford, and it is an Augustinian monastery that was founded by Dermot MacMurrough around 1158.
Now, what you see here today are now ruins, but back in its day, this was a powerful Augustinian monastery. Ferns wasn't just any old town, it was actually the capital of Leinster for a time, and long before the Normans ever set foot here, this was already a major religious centre. The very first church on this site goes all the way back to the 6th century, when Saint Aidan, or Saint Mog as he's often called, set up a monastery here. But by the 7th century, Ferns was already a hub of both politics and religion. Now, of course, Dermot himself is a very controversial figure in Irish history. He's remembered, or maybe cursed, for inviting the Anglo-Normans into Ireland, which changed the course of Irish history forever. He died in 1171 and was buried right here in the Abbey grounds. His grave is marked by the shaft of a high cross that you can still see here today. But he's not the only famous person buried here. Just a few metres away lies Father John Murphy, one of the leaders of the 1798 rebellion in Wexford. So within this little graveyard alone, you've got the final resting place of a medieval king who brought the Normans to Ireland, and a priest who led a rising against the English centuries later. Architecturally, the Abbey is fascinating, and what makes it stand out is the tower. At the bottom, it's square, but as it rises, it turns into a round tower. It's like a hybrid, basically, showing the transition between Ireland's old tradition of freestanding round towers and the newer fashion for square towers attached to churches and so on. The whole thing stands around 17 to 18 meters tall. And even though it was partially rebuilt in the 1840s, it's still one of the most distinctive church towers you'll see anywhere in Ireland. Now, the abbey itself was laid out in what's called a claustral style, with the cloister courtyard in the middle, and excavations in the early 1900s uncovered foundations of the nave, chancel, sacristy, and even priests' chambers, some of which had stone vaulted ceilings as well. Now, even though only parts of the walls and towers survive today, you can still get a sense of the scale and the grandeur of the place. There was actually a lot of the foundations are in the surrounding fields that you cannot see here. But it was all brought to an end in 1539 when the abbey was suppressed during the dissolution of the monasteries, and the last abbot, William Doyle, was forced out. And after that, the abbey slowly fell into ruin. I suppose today St Abbey's is it's actually a designated national monument of Ireland, and standing here, you really at the heart of centuries of Irish history, from early saints, former King of Leinster, and to the rebels of 1798.